Colleagues, hi. As superintendent, I thought I should take a few minutes to speak to you directly about the district's ongoing budget process. By now, you should have received a communication from the Office of Human Resources advising you of an immediate hiring freeze on all non-campus positions and the potential that the Board of Trustees will need to declare a financial exigency. Under district policy, such a declaration is necessary before the board can proceed to implement a reduction in force. I'll speak more about that in a few minutes, but first I wanted to give you a little background. When I became your superintendent last July, the district did not have a preliminary budget in place. And before the district's current budget could be balanced and approved in August, I had to eliminate over $13 million in spending with little or no vetting process. Virtually all of those cuts came from central administrative operations. Ongoing campus activities were affected a little, but mostly indirectly. Administrative, non-campus spending cuts continue to be our primary focus as we proceed to develop next year's budget. We've known since last August that funding our school district fiscal year 2011 and beyond was going to be very challenging. Our tax base is declining, especially for commercial property, and the district is not slated to receive any additional funding from the state. In short, we have several very difficult budget years ahead, and many of them quite ambiguous. Last August, the board and I promised you and Austin taxpayers that we would not wait until next summer to confront our budget challenges. Under the leadership of our new Chief Financial Officer, Nicole Conley-Abram, we have greatly accelerated the budget development process. There have been several well-attended community forums at which parents, employees, and taxpayers gave us their thoughts on where the district should spend or cut funds. Over 7,000 of you participated in an online survey that provided valuable information on what our staff and community sees as spending priorities, as well as areas to cut. Again, I want to reiterate that the first target for reductions has been and will continue to be administrative operations, which is where the board and the community says we should look first. Eventually, however, campus funding may be affected, and that's when more difficult decisions have to be made in the out years. I want to assure you that this budget year and the budget year that we are planning for, the board and I are tackling the challenges head on, early, and with transparency. We're sticking to the budget parameters established by the board and the goal of the new district's 5-year strategic plan. We will have to change what needs to be changed and continue to focus our resources on the classroom. I do intend to present the preliminary budget at the meeting of the Board of Trustees on Monday, February 22nd. However, a discussion of the preliminary budget will occur on February the 8th, where I am asking the board to look at the details that would undergird financial exigency and the possibility of a reduction in force. Right now, we are projected to have a budget deficit of $7.1 million. In addition, there is an $8.6 million new cost that will be necessary to implement for the first year priorities of the strategic plan. That's approximately $15.7 million in revenue that we must find. And we must begin to address the longer-term structural needs of this school district rather than trying to band-aid together our operations from year to year. As a district, we must show that we have scoured up every single financial efficiency there is and are allocating those dollars as much as possible to our students and our campuses. Until we've done our due diligence with the budget, We must reduce and reallocate current spending to make ends meet. And I frankly don't believe it's fair to ask Austin voters for a tax increase until we have shown our due diligence and a strategic reason for the increase. Realistically, cutting programs and services and implementing a hiring freeze won't overcome the budget deficit, not in a district where salaries and benefits count for close to 85% of all expenditures. That's why I am asking the board to consider declaring financial exigency. While such a declaration does not per se commit the board to a reduction in force, it is a procedural mechanism that gives the administration the authority it needs to move forward should those steps become necessary. Some will say that the district should simply dip in again to the fund balance, band-aid together another one-year budget, and move on. The truth of the matter is, any healthy business operation needs at least 3-month savings on hand, and our fund balance does just that. It also helps guarantee that we have a solid bond rating, which saves us millions in interest payments every year, and we have just that. AISD now has one of the strongest bond rates of any school district in Texas, and it must be maintained. Here's another example of the importance of a strong fund balance, one that many employees have told me they find attractive. If we proceed to self-insure our health coverage for district employees, as some have proposed, we must have millions and millions of dollars on hand, not just to cover your routine medical costs, but to cover catastrophic losses. I cannot, in good conscience, let the fund balance drop to an unsafe level that has the district living month to month. I also, in good conscience, cannot plan for a billion-dollar budget from one year to the next. Forecasting and projections are essential to the health and well-being of our institution. We must have a safety net in place to cover emergencies and to protect ourselves from the liabilities that any $900 million a year business enterprise must have. However, out of all these challenges, I sincerely believe we have some great opportunities. I want to assure you that I'm committed to ending the past practice of managing the school district year to year. Guided by a strategic plan and the tough decisions that we need to make on next year's budget, we now have the opportunity to fundamentally restructure the way Austin School District does business. I want us to be preemptive and proactive and to make some tough strategic decisions now, rather than be confronted by some draconian, devastating cuts in just a few years out. And that's the choice we could face. In closing, I want to thank you for all your hard work and dedication to the children of Austin. Yes, these are difficult times, and it can sometimes be easy to get sidetracked from the important work at hand. Please know that your thoughts and suggestions on the budget are important to me, and I hope you'll continue to give me your good ideas on how we can make AISD even better as a school district. Thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you.